name is Lucille Chollerton. I live in Durban, South Africa, and I practice as a nutrition counsellor, specialising in gluten sensitivity and celiac disease. My goal in creating these videos is really to get across to the thousands of people in the general population that there are many symptoms related to gluten that they might be suffering from themselves, and they never really thought about it. Gluten sensitivity is very difficult to diagnose and understand, and the symptoms are so diverse that I really wanted to pinpoint the different symptoms in this series of videos. Gluten is a protein found in 4 specific grains: wheat, rye, oats and barley. And I like to do a little finger demonstration here. When people swallow gluten and they're sensitive to it, in the top end of the small bowel called the jejunum and the duodenum, there are microscopic finger-like projections called villi. These little villi get flattened in an autoimmune way by gluten. The purpose of these villi is to absorb nutrients from food, and at the tips of the villi are the different enzymes: lactase enzyme, maltase enzyme, sucrase enzyme. And when gluten comes along, these little villi get flattened and the enzymes cannot work either, so people will suffer from lactose intolerance or other intolerances to foods. But the good news is that when gluten is out of the diet, these little villi regrow and absorption of nutrients can start taking place again. Full-blown celiac disease is recognized by the symptoms chronic diarrhea and severe weight loss. The majority of people today do not suffer those symptoms. They suffer the myriad of other symptoms related to gluten that may be nothing to do with the bowel at all. They may be autoimmune related. They may be neurological in nature. This is something that's very new in research. There are journal papers coming out at the moment on non-celiac gluten sensitivity. So we're going to hear a lot more about that in the future. In my research, I've worked out that there are about 11 different groups of symptoms. And they're so far ranging in the differences. They can range from headaches, migraine, nasal problems, upper respiratory tract problems, drippy nose, glue ear in babies, lung problems, asthma. Then as you go down the digestive tract, you can get all the bowel symptoms: diverticulitis, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, irritable bowel syndrome, ulcers, duodenal ulcers, stomach ulcers, mouth ulcers. They're all the neurological problems. There are many problems related to autoimmune disorders, and in fact gluten sensitivity is very much to do with autoimmunity. There is such a disparity between the symptoms, and there seems to be about 4 different mechanisms involved. The 4 different physical mechanisms that cause the gluten-related symptoms are, I believe, first of all, the buildup of mucus, which is actually T cells that are being stimulated to fight off this invading toxin, and they cause a lot of mucus buildup in the body, which causes all the upper respiratory tract problems. Then there are the flattening of the villi, which is an autoimmune reaction, and because the villi are flattened, it causes a malabsorption of nutrients. So you'll get a group of symptoms that are due to malabsorption. You'll have iron deficiency anemia, folic acid deficiency, plus many others. Then there are autoimmune reactions where the T cells attack the bodily tissue in an autoimmune way. The T cells, in trying to fight off gluten, because gluten is a protein and our bodily tissue is a protein, in error they also attack bodily tissue. It's an error of metabolism, if you like. And these T cells can attack any type of bodily tissue: red blood cells, white blood cells, connective tissue, major organs, the heart, the pancreas, the islet cells in the pancreas, the kidneys, and so on. Then another mechanism is the peptides that are released by gluten and another food casein in dairy products. But these peptides are chemical-like substances that cross the blood-brain barrier and cause chemical imbalances in the brain. And that will lead to problems of the mind, ADD, ADHD, depression, dyslexia, autism, schizophrenia. So it's quite a complex topic. The next video, I will be talking about the testing related to gluten sensitivity and celiac disease. People are welcome to email me for information. My email address is lucille.c@ledom.co.za. People living in South Africa can contact me via email, and I can send them grocery lists that are gluten-free, allowed lists, not allowed lists, and tips on where to go for restaurants, where to buy gluten-free food in South Africa. I also have a DVD which I sell, and a package of information for those in South Africa and for tourists coming to this country.